This is the kind of stuff that happens when you decide to take on a repair that you really don't need to do. This thing is insane. Just trying to fit that loose connector into that surface mount socket. Just an interesting piece of consumer electronics design history in here. There's a hinged connector on this board for servicing that you would never see today. So it allows for, not exactly easy access, but simpler access than if you were to have to disconnect a bunch of Molex connectors. It's kind of a cool note. Basically just clicks back in. Alright, moment of truth time with today's EV-C3 Sony video 8mm unit here. After watching 12-volt videos, walkthrough last night, did pretty much the same service on this unit, including the foam roller removal. Just an overall lubrication. It was jamming before. Luckily my nylon gears in the tape transport assembly are pretty solid, but yeah, after a full service, I'm kind of a noob at this. Let's find out together if it actually turns on. Alright, that's a good sign. It's powered on. It still powers on. Oh man, alright, this is a little nerve-wracking. It's probably gonna jam. Yeah, it worked. It's gonna need a serious cleaning, but worked. Alright, this is the first successful tape loading in the EV-C3 after a service, after watching 12-volt videos walkthrough. Hopefully this unit plays. I mean, I really have no hope for this thing. It's got some pretty bad creep in the display, so it's probably been stored poorly. I don't even want to try the tape mechanism right now. I'm going to start another video in a few minutes after I find out if it eats tapes or not. Alright, after some cajoling and a little bit of magic, it seems to be fast forwarding now. I can't honestly tell you why it's fast forwarding. I just ejected and inserted the tape about 5 or 6 times just to loosen up any tension in the mechanism. But I have a feeling it's not going to rewind because I don't trust the pendulum gear. If you've worked on one of these units, you probably understand why. It just jams. Let's see if I can stop it. Alright, just to be safe, I'm going to try ejecting it again. Oh wow! Alright, so it was grinding a little bit before on the rewind spool. There's a little tooth type brake mechanism in there that I couldn't see or figure out how to set free, but it seems to have freed itself, much like the deck in the other YouTube video. Amazing. I really hope this thing works. Also, of note, I tightened, if you see in the center of the screen there, I'm trying to focus on it, that little guy, I'm going to touch it there. That little guy there, with the flutes on it, was basically falling off. It needed about 12 turns. The other one needed about 9 or 10 turns. If you work on one of these units, first thing you should do is just tighten those little posts down. See, I really wish you could still get a job doing this stuff. Looks like this unit is all set, or well sorted after, I don't know, maybe 2 hours of just fiddling around, adding grease, moving components. be very careful if you work on one of these units with the ribbon cables. The pins, the adhesive on the pins is failing. And I really don't think that I could take this unit apart again and put it back together and have it work electrically. I had one ribbon cable, or one film cable, if you will, where I had to basically feed each pin, pin by pin, with like a jeweler's screwdriver into the socket. It was incredibly painstaking. Don't mess with these cables. I didn't treat this thing very rough. It's a bit of a different bear, or a different animal from the EV-A50 or the I don't know, C100, those high-8 decks. This is really kind of overcomplicated, probably was really expensive to build, and cheap in construction. I can see why they didn't continue making them. But it's really kind of a fun piece of history, and we'll find out soon if it actually plays video. Alright, I'm going to try doing a full rewind with the newly serviced EV-C3. As you can tell, video 8's kind of a theme right now in my hobbies. I don't know why. It's just kind of an interesting industrial and engineering design feat that they accomplished in the early 90s by making these things, but they're so fucking tiring to work on. So this is with the remote here. I don't know what the code is on the remote. Let's see. It's the RMT 450 VTR remote. Full reverse or full rewind from the end of a tape. It sounded a little bit dry before. Seems like it's getting a little bit more comfortable with operating. At first, just like in the other video, I was having issues with the drum basically sticking to the tape. I'm not really sure what to attribute that to, because there was some decayed foam on the roller, or from the roller, but it really didn't create a film. I don't know if this thing was in a smoker's household or business, but it seems pretty smoke-free, yet I still have that film issue on the drum. I don't think it was just foam. I'm not really sure what it was, but after just running the thing for about 10 minutes, it seems to be scanning over tape pretty well. I still haven't tried the video output, just because, you know, let's face it, it's gonna be garbled without a clean tape. But yeah, I'm just kind of taking things one step at a time, because I really don't want another broken deck. I've repaired another one of these recently. It was an EV-A50, and it's really kind of a lost cause. I mean, it's a nice unit, but the arms inside the mechanism that are driven by the, whatever they are, the cam gears underneath the chassis, those little arms have little pins that are retained by copper, let's call them trunnions, and the copper trunnions are, in the EV-A50, they've just basically snapped. So I have to go in and reinsert a cotter pin every couple of operations. It's just pointless. So until I figure out a good way to fix those pins, this is hopefully going to be the new deck for video transfers and editing and all kinds of experimentation. So it looks like we're kind of at the end of the tape here. And it's not very exciting, but if you own one of these, or if you've worked on one of these decks, believe me, this is incredibly fun. Believe me. I pretty much assumed this thing was going to be a parts unit, but seeing the transport work is pretty vindicating. So I'm going to try pausing and ejecting the tape here from the remote. I'll get real close to the assembly there so you can see. Try to get a better camera. And tape return? No, it's the same thing. What? I don't know what tape return does, but there's no eject button on the remote, so let's use the faceplate. Oh, it's so satisfying. Alright. Can't get over how precisely this thing actuates the tape. Watch this. Just immediate control. See the new little macro here. That is beautiful. Look at that. Let's do 1/5 frame. 2x play. Regular play. And then I do frame. I'm not sure how to make the frame work. Oh. Pause. Frame. 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 It's incredible. Alright, so this is just paused on a clear frame. And do frame by frame. Here's 1/10 speed. Here's 1/5 speed. And then regular playback. And this is after fast forwarding and rewinding the tape. Some searching. Just gonna advance a few minutes here. A few more minutes. Trying to get to the point where it's a little bit more watchable. There we go. So this was shot with a CCD V110. You can actually hear a little bit of audio. And then it'll kind of find the frame, lose a little bit. If I advance the next frame, there we go. So it's capable of displaying something. Do you think this is a dirty head issue or something more serious? Because at this point, I'm not really quite sure what to do. I'm just advancing frame by frame. And you know, when it does find some kind of a raster, it's there. I don't really know what to do from here on out. I'm hoping that a cleaning tape will do something. You hear a siren. Shot with a CCD V110 that probably has about like 4 hours of use on it, maybe less. So the heads are pretty good. Alignment and time are pretty good on that unit. So I mean, this is basically a reference tape. Boy. A few more frames, then you get the idea. Alright, let's hope I can fix this one.